Welcome back to Overkill Reviews. Last week, we tackled a thrash metal legend in Sepultura, and this week, we're doing the same. Kreator's brand new album called Gods of Violence is released today worldwide on Nuclear Blast Records. The story of Kreator goes way back to 1982. Formed in Essen, Germany, originally as Tormentor, they renamed as Kreator in '85 and released their first album called Endless Pain. The '80s saw Kreator release a string of highly acclaimed records, notably 1989's Extreme Aggression, and they've become acclaimed as being one of the great German thrash metal bands alongside Destruction, Sodom, and Tankard. As the 90s approached, the band went on a semi-experimental journey, and then in the early 2000s with the album Violent Revolution, which included new guitarist Sami Ilisernio, the band's sound shifted back to its thrash metal roots, but with a newer, anthemic, almost power thrash metal sound. So, let's see what Gods of Violence, Kreator's 14th studio album, has to offer. In advance of the release of Gods of Violence, leader and founder Mila Petroza announced that he would be releasing a trilogy of videos for the new record. So, I'm skipping to the first of those video tracks, the title song Gods of Violence, and here's an acoustic intro. What does it sound like to you? Any guesses? You got it. 1984 Metallica, Fade to Black. In any case, after that short acoustic intro, Mila wastes no time in launching into the main refrain, "We shall kill." The video for Gods of Violence notable for its nudity, satanic imagery, and its fair share of blood. But Mila, as always, has got something political to say. Listen up here as he launches into a full-fledged thrash assault.
Christ God of violence, in immortal majesty, forces of separatists to arms.
One thing that's always set Mila apart from his German thrash metal brethren is his political angles. Here he screams, "Rise, God of violence in immortal majesty, the forces of separatists to arms, malicious titans in the fear their words can breed. The one commandment echoes forth as clouds of drones attack." A really interesting combination of ritual and very old imagery with suggestions of surveillance and political control. Then we go here. That melodic halftime riff there is really one of my favorite moments on the album. Either the guitarists are playing separate octaves or they've got an octaver pedal in there. In any case, really Sami is adding a lot to the sound here because this sort of feature of Kreator's music was not there prior to the 2000s. And then we go out with a guitar solo. Some fantastic lead work there, and really this dual guitar soloing approach has become an even more prominent feature of Kreator's music since the addition of Sami in the early 2000s. In any case, there we have it, title track, Gods of Violence. Let's move on to the second part of the video trilogy. The next track I want to dig into is called Satan is Real. And no, this has nothing to do with the Louvain brothers, the American gospel country duo of 1959.
Satan is real, working in spirit.
This is something much more ominous. So it's settled. This is not a cover And here comes my favorite riff on all of Gods of Violence. Really love the dancing on the fretboard there in that mid-pace. Thrasher and Mila and co. really showing that all these years later, they're still pumping out some pretty technical thrash metal riffing. Now for the video, it appears that our virgins, our neophytes, if you will, have been attempted to be saved, but things continue to go wrong. And then Mila makes it clear that his message on Satan is a bit different than the Leuven brothers.
You cannot kill us all. Vengeance will come as a shock. Destroy us when the paragon lives on. Among the wolves will lead the pack.
Mila there barks, martyrs, you cannot kill us all. Vengeance will come as a shock, destroy us. Let the clarion listen, among the wolves will eat the pack, showing that Mila hasn't lost any of his critical, skeptical perspective on organized religion. And then we get the almighty chorus.
Satan is real. Satan is real. Horrible tyranny, human catastrophe.
These are big, lofty, commanding moments from Mila, but you know these infernal proclamations from the thrash metal pulpit are offset by some pretty angelic guitar work. Much like on the title track Gods of Violence, here Kreator is also trying to strike a balance between that really visceral, speedy thrash metal attack with some really lush power metal moments. And frankly, by the midpoint of the album, I'm feeling that there's some redundancy happening in the songwriting. You know, you've got those speedy verses, the anthemic choruses, some really quite gorgeous lead solo work, and so on. So, let's move to the second half of Gods of Violence. Track 7 on the album is called Hail to the Hordes, and here we get Kreator's mid-paced, trudging metal march. We can all link arms and swing our Viking horns in unison on that one. You know, this track would be right at home in the Amon Amarth catalog. And then Mila gives us homage to the metal masses.
Build me a nation, a fountain of life, and let us be the voice of what words cannot express. The veiled, the outcast, the sagacious and wise will form a bond, impeccable art, craft the triumphs of time.
On an album that's pretty political in its lyrical content, Mila Petroza takes a different path here. He shouts, "Build me a nation, a fountain of life, and let us be the voice for what words cannot express, the failed, the outcast." Really, this is Mila's testament to the strength of the metal community that he's lived in for so many years. And he nails the point home in the chorus.
We are one, hail to the hordes. We are one, hail to the hordes.
In the press for the album, Mila said that Hail to the Hordes is a song against superficiality and for sticking together in hard times. And as we get towards the end of the song, a totally different kind of instrument enters the mix. So, could you spot it? It's bagpipes, courtesy of In Extremo's Boris Pfeiffer, showing that Kreator is willing to take baby steps to expand the sound in its third decade of existence. All right, last track, here we go. The final track on the album is called Death Becomes My Light, and it's a 7.5-minute opus, and it really shows that Gods of Violence is not just a straightforward thrash record.
Like the ultimate lucid dream, from dust to dust to where I belong, into the void, I'm coming home.
Mila doing something a little bit different there, kind of a spoken word intro on this final track, and then we head straight into Seventh Son of a Seventh Son territory. Clear to me that Kreator here are really ending the album on a much more melancholic, dare I say, relaxed note, especially compared to the front half of Gods of Violence, which was really fast and very thrashy. And just when you thought it couldn't get any more Maiden-esque, we get this. The song is really beginning to feel like Kreator's Hallowed Be Thy Name or Rime of the Ancient Mariner or Alexander the Great. But with all due respect, we get that killer drum fill in the middle from original member Ventor that, not sure the McBrain or Clive Burr could have ever pulled off something quite like that, and love that tempo shift. And then Mila ends the song right back where we started.
Believe this is happening to me. Why have I returned to hate and tragedy?
2017's Gods of Violence, a pretty thrashy affair with some power metal mixed in and some pretty melancholic Maiden-esque work in between. Let's go to the verdict. I started out the review by drawing a comparison with Sepultura, another extreme metal band founded in the 80s that is also putting out its 14th studio album this year. However, I think Sepultura managed to achieve an expanding of their sound, whereas Kreator are at their best when they stick to their thrash metal roots. And the reason why I say that's not because I'm a thrash metal purist, but rather I think Mila is most comfortable spitting out those political, very charged lyrics accompanied by extremely fast and technical riffing. The moments on this album where the band starts to dabble in slightly slower, slightly more melancholic territory, not sure it really works. I will say the vocals are top-notch, the lyrical content and the videos very provocative, very thought-provoking, and yes, Ventor can still shred the fucking kit. So, Kreator, great job. 3.5 skulls on Overkill Reviews. And make sure you check out our brand new Overkill reviewer, Sarah Kitteringham. See you next time.